So let's start with the differences between the mods and total conversion mods. So as most of you probably know, mods are smaller or bigger modifications of the game. They mostly exclusive to computer games on PC because they generally will change the game files. So, for example, most games of the consoles where all your game files are on the disk, you are unable to modify them. Also, I use Steam Workshop for background, as this is the most common sphere where the mods live. So, and the most of the mods population lives there. So, this is why it's in the background. So, one of the things that mods do. They change the look of the parts of the game. The most obvious example of such modifications are new maps to the game. Like for Civilization 5, you have like tons and tons of mods from any kind of fiction. You have Middle-earth from Lord of the Rings, you have maps from World of Warcraft, from Game of Thrones, new historical maps, for example, modification that the whole world the size of the world map stays the same, but for example, it changed to depict only the ancient world that the Romans knew in, let's say, circa 0 AD or something like that. The next role is adding new elements to the game systems or to the game world. The most obvious example would be units mods to, for example, Total War series. There are tons of mods to every game in this series where the new units are added. I use the example for Total War Shogun 2, the Fall of the Samurai, when someone made a mod to give Otomo clan a new unit, more powerful unit to make the game more fun. Also, we have modifications to the systems or the rules in the game. The Battle Captives mod for Crusader King 2 changes only one number in the one specific game file. It changes the chance of capturing enemy general from like 2 or 3% to something around 10 or 15. And this is the only modification it does, but it significantly changes the play, because basically if you manage to capture the enemy king in the battle, you automatically get 100% value on the war and you automatically win, or you can sell him back to his people for a really big amount of money that helps you in game really significantly. The next role is expanding game options or systems. So for example, Mary Nari in the Barmaiden in Skyrim. So one player went to some random inn. I didn't even know that those inn was in the game before I found this mod, and he found that, oh, this NPC, the barmaiden, is very nice, but I can't marry her, or I can buy only meat and food from her. So he went to the game files, found the file of the NPC, changed the value of marriage from 0 to 1, and now you can marry this NPC in the game. Why not? And basically, you have mods for almost every NPC in the game. You basically just write in Steam Workshop, marry the name of the NPC, and probably you will find the mod, or you will find a guide where to go to the game files to change specific line so you can marry this NPC. Also, one of the most visual modifications are mods that change and enhance visual aspects of the game. One unofficial high-resolution patch mod for Skyrim is very significant example, because for like around 70 or 80% of the users that commented on Steam, they said that Skyrim looks better with this mod than with official HD patch DLC. So why buy a DLC for like 10 or 15 euro if you can download a free mod and game will look better. Okay, so here is an example of Civilization 5 mode. As you can see here, this is the map of the Middle Earth. But as you can see, you have the names of the cities are basically the same as default civilizations in the game. Here you have the aforementioned new unit for Otomo clan is a modified Gatling gun, because Otomo in this game are one of the first clans that actually imported the gunpowder weapon from the Western powers. So Modder decided that okay, they should be the first one to get a Gatling gun and just more enemies on the field. And basically the modification works that the basic unit in the game was changed visually, and its statistics were changed to be even more powerful. So now let's get to total conversion modes. What's the difference between them and normal modes? So in game with a story or narrative elements, changing the game's fictional world. So the mod not only changes the map as the one with Civilization 5, but also sets the game world in the different story setting. So, for example, for Crusader Kings 2, modders made a Game of Thrones total conversion that changes not only the map, but all characters in the game are characters from the books. And you can play the characters from the books or from the show, and you can create your own story of Crusader Kings. For example, you can play as Daenerys Targaryen, who never had to leave Western kingdoms because the rebellion failed, and you can start your game as a Targaryen dynasty that never fell. And the example I showed you before with Civilization 5, the one I mentioned and I showed you was a mod because only map was changed. But if the map was changed and the basic civilizations were changed to, for example, Gondorian, Mordor, Rohirrim, and cities you could build were like Minas Tirith or Osgiliath, then you would have a total conversion mod. Only with a map is just a simple mod. Next thing that total conversion mods do: change existing systems or options to such degree that players have to change their playstyle or gameplay strategy. So when we start playing a modified game, very often old tactics we use in the basic game won't work because systems and rules were changed so drastically that your standard tactics will just not work. And of course, they add new options and systems that weren't in the basic version of the game. So I will now show you everything about the total conversion modes on one of the examples. This is the total conversion mode for the game Stellaris. It's called Star Trek New Horizons, and it's changed all the game to fit Star Trek universe. So, for example, all the basic races you can choose from in the original game are replaced by the races from the Star Trek universe. And here we go, Gorn. Of course, fans decided they will use the Gorn from the original Star Trek series. So if you want to relive your fantasy of Kirk fighting the Gorn, you can play the Gorn in this scenario. This is not really well seen here, but you have, in the mode, they included every race that was shown on any series ever. So you have all the aliens from the original series, or the aliens from the Next Generation, from Voyager, and from DS9. So if you are the big fan of Voyager, you can play Kaizen, you can play Borg. you can actually start in the, let's say, mother system of Borg and start on Unimatrix 001 if you want, and play as a Borg queen. Or if you are a fan of DS9, you can start a game as founders and this time conquer the Federation and the Klingon Alliance and show them who the boss is. Okay, so this is the screen of the original game with a mod, because one of the most popular mods for Stellaris are ships from other universes. So here we have original screen how to create your new ship, but with the skin from Stargate universe, specifically Goa'uld ship, but only skin was changed. All the mechanics, all the systems of how to create your own ship, how to make your own design, and so on, was left like in original game. So we have weapons here. Here we have armor and shields, and here we have like engines and radar to scan for your enemies. But now, in the modified Star Trek Total Conversion mode, as you can see, we have Klingon Bird of Prey, but the option of you get to modify your ships are totally changed. The weapons screen here is changed. You have much more options, and also statistics. For example, you don't have this panel here for your shields or for your armor or for your energy. They all were mixed here with new options, or here with new energy modifications, your new systems on your spaceships. Also, all the statistics and how the actual creation and management of your fleet are also changed. Okay, on this here it doesn't look very much, but for example, in this specific mode of the game, the strength of the potential fleet is 72. So you have like 72 slots for your ships. In a normal basic game, this is the basic frigate. In normal game, you could build 72 frigates because they have only one slot, or 2, then 36. Sorry, 2. So you can build 36 ships. But in this mode, one frigate costs you 12 slots. So you, for example, people that prefer Zerg tactic in Stellaris, so build as quickly as many ships you can't implement this tactic in this mode, because how you build and modify your fleet works totally different in this mode. Next one. Standard Stellaris research screen. We have 3 categories. In each category you can research different technologies. One will enhance your ships, one will help you with your empire management, other will add some bonuses to your population or to your planets. In mode, as you can see, this is changed. Layout is the same, but the system is changed because now you can see here, instead of 1 or 2 effects, you have like 10 or 15. This is also the consequence of that the system of the ships was changed. Because if ships has different components, different weapons, different systems, different modifications, you will research different things. So the research system had to be changed to accommodate the changes to the ships, to the fleet building system, and to systems that helps you build your empire. Next one. This is the screen for colonization of new planet in the standard game. As we can see, we have, okay, here is red planet and here is green planet. As every gamer knows, red is bad, green is good. So red planet, you can't colonize it because your race likes oceans and they live in the ocean, they're aquatic race, and this planet is, for example, desert planet, so you can't live there. But there is a next planet, Arctic planet, so okay, it's cold, but it has a lot of water, so you can, with some modifications, but you can colonize it with no problem. And basically, the only statistic is very, you can see it very good, but basically, you have one statistic: what type of the planet is, and habitability. So, how good this planet is for your race. And basically, that is it. You look for a planet which climate is the closest to your home planet. You can colonize it. In the mod of Star Trek, they kept the the planet system from the original game, but they also added the planet category system from Star Trek. So you can have like in one system have like 3 desert planets, but every one of them will be a different type. For example, one will be a D-type, so demon planet. So the atmosphere of the planet is toxic or radioactive, so even if your race is a desert race, you can't colonize this planet, even if it's a desert planet. Other planet is, for example, swamp planet. So, first of all, it doesn't exist. Swamp planets don't exist in the original Stellaris game, but here you have a swamp planet. It wouldn't be very hospitable for the desert-dwelling race, but with modification to the class system from the Star Trek, suddenly you can colonize this planet. Barely, but still you can do it. And here you have terrain of the planet, so desert, ocean, tropical or other, but next to it you have class, and you have class F, the worst possible class of planet you can get in Star Trek universe. So basically no one can live on this planet if you don't terraform it beforehand. Now, the new Unity system. Unity system is like perks for your civilization. It's like connected with how culturally evolved is your race. In a standard version, you have like bonuses for colonization, bonuses for keeping your people happy. If you want to play a warlike race, you can for example choose the supremacy unity that helps you conquer other races more efficiently. For example, it lowers the costs of war, because if you declare war on someone, you have points, percentage in this case, and for example, okay, I want those 4 planets. Okay, it's 102%. You can't take all the 4 planets. You need to choose three planets because it's 202%. But if you choose supremacy, you can cut the cost of taking every planet by some kind of percent. And now suddenly, after adapting the supremacy unity, you can even take 5 planets at one time. And of course, for the Star Trek Total Conversion mod, the system graphically remained the same, but values and bonuses are totally different, and they made to make sense for the Star Trek universe. So for example, you don't have colonization, you have exploration. So it helps you to, so you go, instead of bonuses for better colonization, you get bonuses for better exploration of space. So your spaceships will fly faster, will scan the unknown systems faster. You will have higher probability to find a special event. The special events basically stayed the same as in the original game. They just change that, so you have some percent of the chance that the special project you will get is actually an episode from one of the Star Trek series. So, for example, instead of, yeah, you found a mysterious object, what you want to do with it? Okay, I will research it. Okay, you research it, you get this and this bonus. But in this mode, you get, for example, there was an accident during the transportation of your captain and his crew, and now they came back to the ship, but they are different. You are Klingons, and they speak about peace and love, and it's better to do a research and cultural exploration, not to fight. And what are you do? What will you do? You are your first officer. What you do? You talked with them. You just spy on them. You try to arrest them. So basically, the event is like, in event format, you relive a mirror episode from Star Trek: The Original Series, and those are like 40 events like that you have the specific episode from one of the series, from starting from original series to DS9, and you just relive this episode as a form of event. Next one, we have policies. Okay, it doesn't look very okay. So the policies are basically options you use to better manage your empire. And here again, graphically, it looks the same as in the original game, but the values are different, and they added new systems to your new options to your politics system that they weren't in the original game. For example, in original game, you can set the value. Oh no, sorry. You can set the value of, for example, how aggressive your war can be. So, are you allowing the planetary bombardment only of the military targets, or you allow of bombarding of everything that is on the planet? So basically, the defenses fall faster, but you can kill a lot of the population of the planet you want to conquer. But in the mods, you have additions like, in what way you want to educate your kids. So you build an academy on your planet, and you now need to go to the politics screen to choose a special options for the education. So now you modify what bonuses you will get from this building. So you want your children to be more versatile in engineering, to create better technology, or you want them to be more versatile in social sciences, so you can develop the social technologies faster. Or maybe you want to train them to be a better farmers, so you will get additional perks from your farms on your planets, and so on. And basically, in original game, in politics you have like 10 options or something around that number. In this mode, you have around 20, depending on the research you made, because, for example, politics are also dependent on technology. So if you don't get the technology you need to first get technology of hospitals, then to, for example, gene research. Then you can research gene therapy. And then with this technology, you get the new option of your policies. Do you allow gene experimentation? Do you disallow the gene experimentation? Do you allow the gene experimentation with limits or without limits on your population, or for example only the military gene modification for your soldiers? So there are. So at least in politics, they added many new options that weren't in the original game, and on this level they change your whole empire management, because they add new systems, and your tactics from the basic game won't work, because you have because in basic game you have like 3 options from this mode. You have like in one general option that really didn't mean anything, because it didn't have this much of the impact. But here it's divided into 3 different politics, and if you don't pay close attention to it, you may end up with all your empire rebelling against you because they are spiritualists and they think that genes are matter of spirit and you shouldn't modify them. You shouldn't do anything with this because it's against what they believe. So this will really put your tactics and the way you think about specific systems of this game. This new options and modifications will make you rethink them because you need to modify them. And as for the conclusion from the title, game within game, I believe that total conversion mods we can consider as different games, as long as the modifications are so extensive, you need to change that they will make players to change their game style. If you play this game differently than the basic game, then it's, at least in my opinion, that means it's a different game. Thank you.